Hello, my name is Rob and welcome to Metal Monthly. This is a video series where we talk about everything that happened in metal music over the past month. In this episode we are going to talk about an album that I hated, orchestral music and toilets. Wait, no, where are you going? Come back. No, I promise this is going to be good. So let's begin. And as always we begin with albums. What albums came out in May? First off, Dave Lombardo with Rites of Percussion. Dave Lombardo is most famous for being the drummer and co-founder of the thrash band Slayer, although that is not his only accomplishment. Like every drummer, he has played in dozens of other bands, which include Suicidal Tendencies and The Misfits. So being a drummer, Rites of Percussion is all about percussion music. And I think it's important to start off by saying that for an album that is just percussion and is 35 minutes long, it keeps you engaged for those 35 minutes. Yes, there's lots of drum solos, obviously, but there's also lots of other percussion instruments and they kind of get layered in to make this kind of hypnotic soundscape. Each of the songs sounds very different. Either they're a kind of tribal sound or they're trying to evoke different emotions from you. I'm not just being a hipster when I say that this was a really good album to listen to. Next up, Amity Affliction with Not Without My Ghosts. This is an Australian metalcore band, although you can't hear the Australian accent through the rough vocals. This is melodic hardcore, so there are some rough vocals, there are some clean vocals, although they are very much in the minority. And the contrast between the two, they are very clean and very rough vocals, and sometimes that contrast is a little bit too much for me. And sometimes the rough vocals try and carry the song, like there isn't much music, it's just the vocals, and it's awful. Listen to the opening minute of Fade Away and just try and tell me that you liked it, because you didn't. Overall though, it is a pretty good album, I did get into it, and I think I would recommend it. Next up, Def Leppard with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra with Drastic Symphonies. And yes, I said Def Leppard with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. Let's just take a minute to let that sink in. I gotta say, I went into this album with high hopes but no real concept of what was about to happen. So basically what this album is a lot of reimaginings of some of Def Leppard's most famous songs, but with an orchestra. They're generally lighter, slower songs, barely even rock music because then it fits in better with the orchestra. On Spotify, the song Animal has got far more views than any of the other songs on the album, and I think it's probably because it's the best song on the album. It's really good. The reimagined version of Pour Some Sugar on Me, however, is dreadful. I genuinely hated it. When you think of Pour Some Sugar on Me, you think of this over-the-top romantic glam metal classic, but they've turned it into a very slow love ballad between two people, and it just bored me. Honestly, this just feels like they're steering into the idea that Def Leppard music is just for old people now. Although I did quite like it. Although then again, I am old. Next up, Sleep Token with Take Me Back to Eden. So this is one of those mysterious bands who wear masks and they don't let people know who they are. So it's a collective of masked musicians who are fronted by the lead singer Vessel. So the album started and it was one of those slow openings where the singer sings very slowly and you're like, yeah, okay, I know this is going to get to some heavy metal, can we get to that bit? And this went on for 2 minutes. And then the song kicks in and it's this kind of slow sad metal with the slow singing, and then the slow metal goes away again and it's mostly just the singing again, and I was just confused. Song 2 opened with this much heavier, faster heavy metal sound. And then that went away again, then it went back to this slow singing, slow rock metal music thing. Like the whole album is full of this. It goes to really fast heavy metal and then the really slow sad singing, and it's very disjointed. I mean, the singer has a nice voice. I enjoyed listening to him sing. It's just that the songs themselves were boring and they didn't really interest me. They were very disjointed. I was confused, not engaged. This feels like a very artistic album, by which I mean it was made by an artist who refused to concede on any of his ideas. Every bit of this album feels like it was very self-indulgent, and I did not enjoy it. However, I looked online and it's been getting lots of 6s and 7s, mostly positive reviews, so I'm just going to say maybe I'm too dumb to appreciate Sleep Token, but I really didn't like them and I don't want to talk about them anymore. So the album that I listened to just because I like the name of the band is Cattle Decapitation with Terrasite. So Cattle Decapitation is a death grind band, and death grind is a mixture of death metal and grindcore, if that helps you at all. So this album started again with that kind of very slow fake out bit, and then it kicks into the fastest death metal you've ever heard, and it's really cool. It's got those incredibly rough vocals where you've got no idea what they're saying, and then sometimes they do that kind of high-pitched screamo vocals that sometimes those bands do, and I'm not really sure I'm a big fan of it. When the music slows down a bit, and I do use that term loosely, it becomes this really good headbanging music. And then it kicks back into high gear and all you can really do is stand there and vibe to the guitar solos and really fast drums. I really enjoyed this album. Next up we have Music Festival Explorer. This is my website where I talk about heavy metal, music festivals, anything music related really. This month I have written a blog post about Download Festival because it's in its 20th anniversary this year. I talk about the history of the festival and some of the notable events that have happened. If you're interested, there is a link in the description, please do check it out. And finally we have the news from last month. Speaking of Download Festival again, it is Download Festival this month. I am so excited for it. I'm going to get my mohawk back for it. I'm hyped about that. Yeah, that's kind of it. That was the news story there. Next up, speaking of Download Festival again, Download Festival Germany has been cancelled. Despite the really good lineup of Slipknot, Parkway Drive, Volbeat and The Prodigy, they basically decided the festival wasn't viable financially and they've had to cancel it. According to KFP Scorpio, a German festival and concert organiser, they have said that post-pandemic only 20% of festivals are now financially viable, which is scary. So let's end on something much more fun. Do you remember that guy who made a Lars Ulrich toilet and a guitar from the skeleton of his uncle? Prince Midnight, as he is known, has an Instagram account that I suggest you all go follow because it's insane and amazing. He basically documents all of his art projects. Recently, he has made an Iron Maiden Power Slave toilet and a Motorhead urinal. And I just want to congratulate this guy for just knowing who he is. This is a guy who has life figured out. He likes making weird art projects about heavy metal and toilet apparatus. This is a guy who knows exactly who he is and I love him for that. And that is everything I have for you this one. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do click like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. My name is Rob and I will see you in another video very soon.